Oh, Mother Nature threw a tantrum this weekend. Tornadoes and raindrops and hailstones, oh my. But there were still quite a few supergroup games that managed to play out. All the action is coming right up. This is CAF TV. Welcome, everybody. It was a wet, soggy weekend across the GTA, but the boys played on, and we've still got tons of game highlights coming up for you. Also, One Touch Soccer Academy has certainly turned a few heads in its CAF debut so far this year. And we'll have the boys from One Touch here in the studio later on in the show to discuss their program. But first, BioSteel, Supergroup highlights, and CAQ Academy have been the undisputed rock stars of the under-13 group so far. Now, through two games, heading into last weekend, they had a perfect record, outscoring opponents 14-2 over those two games. Now, clearly, offense hasn't been a problem for these guys, and they continue to roll against Brampton City on Saturday. CAF game highlights now brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition. BioSteel, drink the pink. CAQ is the lone remaining undefeated team in the under-13 group. Brampton had designs on changing that, but it didn't start out well for them. Just the first minute of play, misplay by the keeper. Ethan Fayant says, "I'll take it." In it goes, 1-0 for the boys in blue. 2 minutes later, they nearly add to it. Narinda LeMay gets all of it, but rings it off the crossbar, though. Brampton does knot it up. It's not pretty, but they'll take it, courtesy Tyler Bradbury. The unfortunate own goal, and they're all tied up at 1 apiece. And then it's Sajan Gill back at the other end with one of the plays of the week. Turns the defender inside out, hits Andrew Clausen out front, and it's 2-1 for CAQ. Second half, it was Roman Ceccarelli's turn to shine in goal, standing on his head numerous times. First, he stops on Narinda LeMay there, and then seconds later, he's going to duplicate the feat on Sajan Gill. And then right after that, yet again, this time on Bavant Deal. Really nice stops, but the poor guy just under fire the entire game. Only so much he can do. Finally, LeMay cracks the code and dribbles it by him to make it 3-1 CAQ. Kudos to Brampton, though. They never stop trying. Nicholas Habinka floats it up, tucks it just under the crossbar, and it was Brampton within one, but LeMay puts this baby to bed late in the contest to make it a 4-2 final. Afterwards, Sajan Gill stopped by, and he talked about how his teammates rose to the occasion for what they knew was a big game.
We knew that we had to win this game. It was an important game, top of the standings, we want to stay there. So of course we got into the game with a mentality to go forward, attack. And our coach, he told us to play around with the ball, don't lose it. And we were all calm. Ninja here scored 2 beautiful goals, and that was what put us in the lead, and we won it in the end.
1, 2, 3, CAQ!
Okay, this was one of the games that Mother Nature decided to mess around with. Boost versus Chantilly. Good start for Boost. 10 minutes in on the attack. Somehow they elude the keeper and put it home. And Boost leads by a 1-0 count. And soon after, this one had the Boost parents up in arms. And understandable, actually, if you think about it. Sure looks like he got dropped by the keeper, but no call. They couldn't believe it unless he just tripped, and we couldn't see from that angle. No matter, 22nd minute, Boost, indirect free kick in the box, nicely executed, and they make it 2-0. That was when the skies opened up and the lightning made its presence known as the game got called, and Chantilly get a bit of a break as they'll get to replay that later on in this season. Okay, to the under-20s, no such praise for Chantilly, and this one against Mississauga, all united. Thanks to Kayla Perrin of Chantilly for the footage, but she couldn't have been too happy about what she saw early on. Spinorama, United up 1-0. Shortly after, Missy on the attack, great ball movement, and they find the back of the net, and it's 2-0 for United, and they weren't slowing down off the corner kick. Head to ball, ball to net, 3-0 Mississauga. Second half, more from the boys in blue. Apologies, can't really see the number here, but pretty sure it's Rashawn Walks going by the hair, and it's a sweet one. 4-0 for United. Chantilly would break the goose egg, though. Mohamed Shamki in the box. He pounds it home to make it 4-1. And then it's Israel Perrin, always dangerous. He gets chopped down in the box. No question about this one. And Perrin will go to the spot, and he will deposit. And deficit cut in half to 4-2. Mississauga made it 5-2, though. And then I wish I knew who this was because it's a sweet goal. The mystery man dancing around Chantilly and making it a 6-2 final. Welcome back to CAF TV. As mentioned, One Touch Soccer has made quite the impression so far in their CAF debut this year. Now, the under-13 squad opened the campaign by spanking Burlington by an 8-0 count 2 weeks ago. Were they that strong? Did Burlington just have a bad day? Maybe a combination of the two? Regardless, Burlington had a chance at redemption on Sunday as they look to avenge that loss in the rematch. And that was definitely Burlington's worst game of the season, their opener against OTS. Flashback to week one, One Touch scoring at will against overwhelmed Burlington and winning by an 8-0 count. Now, Burlington was much stronger this time out, but OTS still struck first. 17th minute, OTS steals. They get it to Mason Petrucci, not the guy you want to have the ball if you're Burlington, and it goes. And it's 1-0 for One Touch Soccer. They nearly make it 2 moments later. Blake Ellis charging in. Nils Thorson, though, coming off his line and charging out. Great save. Second half, Burlington getting its chances, but for the most part, OTS kept them to the outside, so shots like that easily handled. Then it's Petrucci charging in again, but yet again, Thorson coming off his line. Great save by the young keeper, but Petrucci, the unstoppable force. This is why he's the leading scorer in the under-13 group. Does it all himself, finishes it off, and OTS goes up 2-0, and Petrucci nearly gets the hat trick here as he does a nice little deflection. It stays out, but Blake Ellis is there to put it home. 3-0 final. Afterwards, though, Burlington's Joe Davies, a well-spoken young man, he thought his team did much better this time out against OTS.
I think today we moved the ball a lot better. They still move it fast and they have a really good touch and just they're very fast. But last game I don't think we connected as well and we didn't move the ball as well. But they're still a really good team and I do think we played a lot better, but yeah.
Well, another squad that's been flexing its offensive muscle thus far has been Toronto Youth Academy. Now, the under-20 squad squared off against Exuvia last weekend, and it wasn't pretty as the boys from TO spanked them 6-0. Up next for them on Saturday was another CAF newcomer, Canadian SC. Exuvia won't feel quite so bad about last week's blowout loss after seeing the result of this one. Canadian, optimistic before the game, it quickly turned sour though. Early on, Luis Silva slides through, puts it home, TYSC up 1-0. Save of the game comes courtesy Canadians Jean Marquis. The goal line stand to keep the ball out. Very nice. The goal of the week, though, comes from Richie Ennen as he turns the defender inside out and then outside in for good measure. Too many moves to count. Feeds Silva out front for the tap, and that is a pretty sweet goal. 2-0 Toronto, and then it's Ennen making things happen. Again, this time he says, to heck with it, I'm keeping it myself. Boom. Knocks it home. 3-0 TYFC. Second half, it gets worse for the Blues. Ali Ahmed, shot, deflection, oops. The keeper, helpless. And the Reds go up 4-0, and then once again, it's Richie Ennen imposing his will. So smooth. Ennen with the brace. And it's 5-0 Toronto. Canadians' best chance comes late in the second, but the Toronto keeper gets down to make the nice stop. Ennen trying for the hat trick at the other end. He gets steamrolled by the Canadian defender. So he goes to the spot, and yep, it's the hat trick. What a game for him and for TYFC as they win their second consecutive contest by at least a touchdown. 7-0 this time over Canadian. Okay, Fogo versus Lions United under 16. This was a great game, actually. First half, Mateus Mello chopped down in the box. They put Gurgis Singh on the spot. Automatic for him. 1-0 for Fogo. Second half, though, Lions getting its own chance from the spot as Massimo Maggio gets tripped up. And they put Lucas Ferreira behind the ball, and he converts. And it was all tied up at 1 apiece. And then it's Maggio crossing for Ferreira, who skies for the header, out-jumping the goalie. Rough landing, but he makes it 2-1. Just a minute later, though, Fogo on the attack. Elias Gritzis knocks home the nice feed, and this one ends up deadlocked at 2. Afterwards, the man with the brace, the Lions' Lucas Ferreira, stopped by to chat about the game.
I think we played a little bit disorganized at the first half, but the second half we came on. New guys came on, they showed up. We played around, played well. It was pretty good.
Okay, some CAF news and notes to tell you about. A reminder that the Southampton Cup open tryouts still taking place for the tournament in the UK. It's going to be a great event. Head to cafsoccer.com for more information. And the BioSteel Canada Cup. This is going to be amazing, which takes place August 5th through the 7th. With some fantastic teams attending in the under-16 Supergroup final, of course, to be played at BMO Field. BioSteelCanadaCup.com for more information. Welcome back to CAF TV. As promised, I've got the boys from One Touch Soccer in here. And guys, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Good. It's Sukru, right? Murad Sukru.
Murad.
Turkish. He's been teaching me the proper pronunciation. So, and the star forward from the under-13s, Mason Petrucci, here in the studio. Quite the game on Sunday against Burlington. Surprise, surprise. Mason got another couple of goals in that game. But tell us about the Burlington game. They played you a lot tighter this time than they did a couple of weeks ago, didn't they?
Yeah, they played like more pressure defense. They tried to lock us down after we scored many goals last game. They played like tighter, more pressure on us.
Yeah. You were saying it looked like an entirely different team, the way they pressured you compared to that 8-0 game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought it was a completely different team.
Yeah.
New coach and everything.
Yeah.
So I did it very well. It was great to see the competition level at a high level, opposed to the game prior where it was just a big blowout.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see that they came back, they went to the drawing boards, and they did the right things to play us.
A little more challenging for the boys. So you're here to tell us about One Touch Soccer. Yeah. Tell us about the academy, how long you guys have been around for, why you started it, and when you guys started it as well.
We started 4 years ago, One Touch Soccer Academy. I was pushed by my wife, my family, to give back to the community. At first, all I was doing was just training, and then the interest of putting teams together, and just kept getting more and more, and now we're at the stage that we're at right now, and it's going very well.
Yeah, and what's the philosophy behind the academy? Like maybe compared to other ones out there, what does OTS offer? What does OTS teach them?
OTS teaches them how to become and train in a professional atmosphere. And we provide that day in, day out in our training sessions. You see, with the results that we have created with these boys, being together for 3-4 years is immaculate. And it all comes down in the training sessions. We train very hard. Boys are very, very serious, and it's implemented every training session how to be serious and take the game seriously. And now coming into the CAF, it just gives that even bigger of a picture where they're coming out in stadiums, they're coming out to the national anthem, they're being interviewed, and preparing them to that next level.
Absolutely. How have you enjoyed being with OTS, and have they helped you elevate your game?
Yeah, it's been a great experience. We've been training very hard in the last couple of weeks for the Ontario Cup coming up. We're playing against tough teams in the CAF as well.
Yeah, and tell us a bit about Mason, because obviously, as I mentioned, he's the scorer on the under-13 team. Provided us with a lot of great highlights, which we have been showing, of course, over the last couple of weeks. Tell us about this dynamic young player and what he brings to the team.
Oh, well, there's many things I can talk about Mason. The list just goes on. The number one thing that stands out with him is his intensity and his focus. In training sessions, he does not stop at all. He always gives it 120% every training session. And he's a leader on the team. And from hard work, when he comes to the games, he does his job, which is score goals.
Yeah, and he was mentioning before we got on the air, favorite player, not entirely surprising. Should I assume your favorite team is Real? And is that going to change if he changes teams as well? Favorite player?
I don't know.
You said Cristiano Ronaldo. Though.
Yes.
Is that going to change now if he changes teams?
No.
No, it's going to remain. Okay. What besides the odds? What about Ronaldo? Is that someone you've tried to pattern your game after?
Yeah, someone who always wants to score a goal, who doesn't matter what's in his way, he'll go and he'll try and help his team out.
And does it with flair too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Definitely a good example of the beautiful game, isn't he? Okay, exciting stuff happening with yourself actually. Yeah. And it's happening fairly soon. Why don't you tell everyone what's going on and how this is also going to benefit OTS?
I'm just took over the men's and women's Keano College head coach, plus the technical director of Fort McMurray Soccer Association.
Out in Alberta?
Out in Alberta. Yeah. It's a it's a huge responsibility, and it's just to elevate my game as a coach to the next level and bring out what we have accomplished here and do the same thing in Fort McMurray. There's a huge opportunity and a lot of talent. So I'm very, very honored and very excited to go out there and start a new adventure. And still, OTS still continues with the long trainers of Ricardo Marquez, my father, Hikmet Sukru, Akrika Dawson, Jeff Smith. They're still going to keep continue the program going to the highest level, and I'll be flying back and forth. It'll be great.
We're going to have to keep up to date on what's going on with that. We've got 30 seconds. Before we go, maybe you want to answer this. How have you liked CAF so far, and what have you liked about it so much?
I really like CAF. It's a very professional atmosphere. It provides with stadiums, national anthems, names, interviews, trips going around the world, like how I went to Italy, and it's tough teams to play against.
And we got 10 seconds. I should have mentioned that really quick. Actually, he just got back. He was a part of CAF United in Napoli. We'll have to follow up on that another time. Thank you so much, both of you, for making the drive in. St. Catharines, this guy actually. So thanks, guys. More CAF TV coming up in just a second. Welcome back to CAF TV. We move now to the open group, and Toronto Atomic has been the class of the men's division so far. Now, Atomic destroyed Clarkson in week 1 and then edged Rise SC last weekend. But Toronto United presented a unique challenge for them. The CAF newcomers held traditional power Toronto Croatia to a draw the week previous, so Atomic knew they'd have their hands full with the upstarts. Atomic's been very impressive thus far in men's open group action, and they carried the balance of play early on. 5th minute, the ball pops to Arvin Nesarhozeni, but Adrian Ibanez, former York region shooter, makes the nice stop on him. Moments later, Alexander Novikov going down like a sack of bricks in the box. He gets the call. Novikov goes to the spot. Ibanez guessing right and nearly getting it, but not quite enough. 1-0 for Atomic. Vasil Berest sacrificing life and limb to prevent a goal at the other end. The wall holds, and Berest is left holding something else, unfortunately, as he was singing soprano for a little while afterwards. Luckily, he recovered. Most United chances relegated to the outside. Jonathan Nazario tries his luck. No trouble for Ihor Vitiv, though. Long-range free kick for Atomic. Ibanez has to be on his toes as he deflects it over the bar. Second half, Atomic adds some insurance. Stas Katana just chilling out front, and he will knock it home, and Atomic pads its lead to 2-0. And that's how this one would end up. The game actually was called a little early due to a little on-field pushing and shoving, but Atomic takes it to zip. Okay, to the under-16s we go. Niagara taking on Bree Academy. And Niagara has looked fantastic so far this year. They hit early and often. First half, Carol Connor, DeMarco Primerano, Elementary Niagara goes up 1-0. And then it's Nicholas Andriola on the charge. Great solo effort. He stopped, but his teammate finishes it off. And it's a 2-goal Niagara advantage. Ethan Gerard with some great moves of his own down the far wing. He finds Sebastian Abudo, who should never be that open out front. And it's 3-zip for Niagara. Moments later, not entirely sure who this is, but he does it all on his own to make it 4-0 for Niagara United. Goal of the game, though, actually comes from Bree. Harris Davion with the free kick. Unstoppable. Top shelf. Nicely done. But it's still a 4-1 deficit. Second half, more from Niagara. Marco Primerano and Liam McNeil playing a little back and forth here. McNeil chips it in from well out. It's paid. A gorgeous goal. Niagara fully in control, up 5-1. Primerano with the penalty kick late, but a fantastic stop by the Bree keeper to deny. Still, it was all United on this day as they flexed some muscle and dropped Bree by a 5-1 count. Okay, yet another game that was affected by the severe weather conditions. Maccabi against Milton under 16. First half, Justin Pulaski from the top of the box. What a stop here by Eli Wyman to deny, though. And then a big oops at the other end. Maccabi free kick from another area code. Christopher Colongo thinks it's going over. Nope. Ouch. 1-zip Maccabi. But Colongo redeems himself soon after. Maccabi in tight. Colongo, nice save. Second half, Milton getting its chances. Joey D'Agostino. This kid packs some dynamite in his right foot. Unfortunately, this one flies just over the bar. That's when the tornado warning was issued. Kind of a good reason to postpone the game, I'd say. These two teams will make it up later on in the year. Okay, some other supergroup scores to tell you about. Under 20, Fusion doubles up Canadian 2-1. And in the men's group, Croatia all over Mississauga, 6-0. CAF countdown, top plays of the week. Number 5, the unstoppable force. One touch under 13's Mason Petrucci dancing through the Burlington backline. And putting it home, one of 2 on the day for Petrucci. Number 4, Mississauga United. We're pretty sure this is Rashawn Walks with the long flowing locks. Going to work against Chantilly. Very nice. Part of a big United win on Sunday. Number 3, Marco Primerano to Liam McNeil. And what a chip shot this one is. Thing of beauty as Niagara drop Bree 5-1. Number 2, same game. Bree's Harris Davion with one bright spot for his team, and that is absolutely clinical. Gorgeous shot to beat the Niagara keeper. Number 1, Toronto Youth under 20s Richie Ennin. The expression turned the defender inside out gets overused sometimes, not this time. Schools his coverage, feeds Luis Silva for the finish. So nice. And that right there is our CAF play of the week. And that's all the time we've got for this week. Just remember, though, you can always head to cafsoccer.com to keep up to date regarding all the events in the Canadian Academy of Football. And, of course, all the social media outlets are there as well for you to check out. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We'll see you next week for more CAF TV.